Hey, hey, you know what it is, you know who it is. What's up? What's up? What's going on, family? It's your main man, 100 grand, your brother from another mother, Dr. Eddie, and I need some big energy. Drop some fire emojis in the chat if you're happy, and you know it, as we always do and always say, clap your hands. Come on, I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to go right here in the mix at 6. I need you to share this with at least 6 people. We've been in the series, and I've been serious about the series called World War Me. Can you believe it? We're in part 11 right now. Yeah, part 11. World War Me. Hopefully you are enjoying the series and getting something from it that it speaks life into your life. If it's been a blessing to you, just let me know for sure. Let's take it to another level. Let's take it to another degree. If you're ready to do that, type let's go. Turn of today's topic, we're going to get into the discussion of World War Me, Part 11, talking about strength and surrender. Strength in surrender is what we're going to be talking about. And here's the thing about surrender. A lot of times, surrender, that word in and of itself, doesn't really make much sense to our natural mind. Doesn't really make much sense to a lot of times how we think, how we process, how we live, how we go through life, all of these things, because the question is, why would I let go of the familiar for something that is unfamiliar that may or may not work? It's like somebody who said, you know, the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't know. Might as well just deal with it. Why would I let go of something familiar for something that is unfamiliar that may not work? Right? I'm so used to being comfortable. Why should I now move out of the place of that which is so comfortable to me versus launching out into new territory, uncharted territory, in a place of discomfort that may be worse than what it is that I got out of? Getting comfortable being uncomfortable, becoming uncomfortable with being comfortable, right? Because in many cases, lethargy, a lack of identity brings us to a greater place of complexity. And I know you say what we've always heard, the scripture is God will give you the desires of your heart. In actuality, it's the fact that his desires become yours. It's not that God is a genie. You don't just get three wishes. You rub the Bible three times, you get three wishes. He doesn't just give you what you want. He gives you what to want. Right. And so when it is that I become so connected to God, he begins to change my outlook on my life. He begins to change my outlook on my world. He begins to change my outlook on who it is that I am, because his desires for me now become my own desires for myself. Delight yourself in the Lord. He'll give you the desires of your heart. And here's the thing. Most people believe that God's just going to give you what it is that you desire. Here's what it is. If you delight yourself in the Lord, he will give you what to desire. Y'all don't want to talk to me. He'll give you what to desire. When he gives you what to desire, then he'll give you what you desire. And here's the thing. A lot of times we're trying to resist what God desires for us, because his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. What we want for our own self does not compare to what he wants for us. You can't resist what God wants you to desire and make it about only what you particularly desire. Here's what happens. God's desiring comes through surrendering. Can I talk about this thing? Somebody just type surrender. Come on, somebody just type surrender. No, it seems surreal, but let's keep it real. Type surrender. Can't resist what God desires for you and make it only about what you specifically and particularly desire. But his desire, God's desiring, comes through surrendering. What is surrender all about? Surrender is all about submission. Surrender, here it is about how I yield. Notice this. Whenever you're out on the road, you're out driving, sometimes you come across a yield sign. Yield does not mean continue to go at your own pace. Yield means I need to recognize the signs. I need to pause a little bit. For pedestrians, I need to pause. For other cars that may be coming through. Here's the thing. Whether there's cars or whether there's people or whether there's none of them at all, I got to abide by the sign. Right? Not what specifically what I think I should do. I got to recognize the sign. Whether police are around or not, there's a rule that's been mandated. And I have to yield. Here's what I want to share with somebody. I guarantee you, you will produce the greatest yield if you yield. Yielding means surrendering. Yielding means I'm not just doing my own thing. Yielding means it's not the song, it's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. That's throwback. That's old school right there. Yield, two forms of it. One is surrendering. One is what I get from the seeds that I've been sowing. Two forms of yield. One is surrendering. The other yield is what I get from sowing. Other yield speaks to a agricultural type of terminology. But here's the thing, they both align. I will produce the greatest yield. I'll produce, here it is, the greatest harvest when my heart is right. I'll produce the greatest harvest when my head has clarity. I will produce the greatest harvest. I'll produce the greatest yield when, here it is, I've yielded to do that which is uncomfortable. When I've yielded to do and get out of the place of complacency. When I've yielded to do something with my gift that serves other people, that blesses other folks, that inspires, to where I share my story, to where I share my journey, to where I give people strategic insight and information on who it is that they are and what it is that they can become. Listen, if you're not a part of the Eagles Academy, I want you to join the Eagles Academy. I think this is a great place to promo. Yeah, if you're not a part of the Eagles Academy, you want to make sure that you join the Eagles Academy. We've got an amazing session coming up, even on tomorrow, that you need to be a part of. Go there right now, theeaglesacademy.com. I'm showing you how to produce the greatest yield. I'm showing you that when you put your head, your heart, and your hands in God's hands, here it is, you'll produce your greatest harvest. Let me say it twice because it's oh so nice. When you put your head, your hands, and your heart in God's hands, you'll produce the greatest harvest. Do you understand? Go there right now, theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed. You need to be in an amazing community. Why? Because collaboration and community is the new currency. You need to be in a community of eagles. Where are my eagles at? Just drop some eagle emojis in the chat. Kenya and Kara and Ruby, I see you. Yes. You need to be in an environment of individuals, here it is, who recognize and realize this, that a win for you is a win for me too. They're not intimidated by you soaring into success. They're not intimidated by you posturing yourself in a place of purpose and positioning yourself in that aspect. Let me give you some strategy, structure, and solutions to take your vision to another dimension. I want you to invest in yourself. I want you to surrender to the process of taking your vision to another dimension. Go there right now, theeaglesacademy.com. We're talking about surrender. And here's the thing, we're talking about strength in surrender. When I yield, I'll produce the greatest yield. Because here's another thing about surrender, especially when you think about World War Me. Surrender is a war terminology. Let me get this thing. When you think about World War Me, surrender is a war terminology. Why? Because surrender is this. Surrender means to lay down one's arms. What does arms mean? Arms is our artillery. Arms are weapons. Yeah, arms speak to weaponry. And here's one thing that you got to ask yourself. What kinds of weapons have you formed against yourself? This is what we say. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. But here's the thing. A lot of times we have formed a weapon against ourselves. Mm, let me say it again. Some of us are the weapon that is formed against ourselves. Apostle Shipman, Apostle Ray, I know you understand. You can say it better than I can, my dear brother from another mother. What kinds of weapons have you formed against yourself? Weapons of, here it is, pistols of procrastination. You're doing guerrilla warfare on yourself with grenades of gaslighting. Why? Because you keep telling yourself that you're not who God said you are. Here's what you're not doing. You're not yielding to the process. You're not surrendering by putting yourself in a place of sacrifice. You're not surrendering from what God is desiring for your life. God's telling you who you are, and you keep telling him what you're not. Keep telling him you're not suitable for ministry. Keep telling him that you're not credible to be an author. Keep telling him. Come on, how you going to tell him that in many cases you're not credible to be an author when you're talking to the author and the finisher of your faith? Come on. You're in the place of you're dealing with self-esteem snipers. You're victimizing yourself due to the stink bombs of stinking thinking. You got, in many cases, you have minds on your mind that are now bringing explosive TNT, trauma, and triggers that you continue to rehearse rather than moving into the power of truth and transformation. That should be some real TNT in your life, not just trauma and triggers. But I'm talking about what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is truth and transformation. Come on. You blow up the spot every single time simply because of what you tell yourself what you can't do and what you can't become and what you can't overcome. What is surrender all about? Surrender means, again, I got to lay down my arms. And here it is. When I lay down my arms, what can I do? I can lean on his arms. When I lay down my weapons, when I lay down my own, here it is, my own agenda, and I own his agenda for my life. Yeah, you trying to operate. Here it is. The reason you're on that particular frequency is because of what you think about frequently. You keep thinking about how it's not going to work frequently. You keep thinking about what people said about you frequently. You keep thinking about what they did to you frequently. You keep thinking about, here it is, how they didn't love you frequently. And as a result of it, now here it is, you play out of the aspect of what it is that is your hurt rather than moving into the place of what it is that is your healing. You know what surrender means? You know what surrender says? Somebody, as a matter of fact, somebody just put up a flex arm emoji. Come on, put up a flex arm emoji. We're talking about strength and surrender. Yeah, put up a flex arm emoji because we're talking about strength and surrender. And here's the thing. Do you know what surrender says? Surrender says this. Surrender says, God, I'm willing to become what you want me to be, even though I'm not yet who you want me to be. That's the power of what surrender says. God, I'm willing to become what you want me to be, even though I'm not yet what you want me to be. And I'm putting into play and I'm putting into practice getting better each and every single day, surrendering to you, trusting you when I can't trace you, not fighting against what it is that you want me to become, who it is that you want me to become. Because here it is, when I am who you want me to become, now I'm able to overcome. Surrender says, I'm willing to become what you want me to become, even though I'm not yet who you want me to be. Are you following me? Because here's the thing, delayed obedience is still disobedience. I know you did it, but you should have done it already. You always say delayed but not denied. A lot of things are denied simply because of what you've delayed. Come on. You keep delaying the project. You keep delaying the business. You keep delaying your gift. You keep playing and delay. Listen, whenever you're delaying, you're playing yourself. Surrender says, not my will, but your will be done. That's the power of surrender. The power of surrender is what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to become. How I'm willing to take my mindset and my life to another level and to another dimension. Because here's the thing, surrender is not weakness, surrender is strength in weakness. Come on. Surrender is not weakness, surrender is strength in weakness. Stop delaying what God wants you to start doing. Because here's the thing, you're not waiting on God, He's waiting on you. You got to understand this. Time doesn't wait for the perfect you. Why are you waiting for the perfect time? Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is strength in weakness. Why? Because his grace is sufficient for you because his strength is made perfect in weakness. Your strength is made perfect in weakness. Surrender means I got to lay down my arms. Surrender means I got to stop doing things just specifically the way I want to do them. Surrender says, I have to trust even when I can't trace. Come on, somebody hit some thumbs up on the YouTube side. Come on. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Come on, like, comment, share, subscribe. Come on, hit some thumbs up on the YouTube side. Come on, hit some thumbs up. And here's the thing, what I'm convinced about is this. I'm convinced that opportunity has a favorite song. And here's what the song here's the favorite song of opportunity. The favorite song of opportunity is this. On to the next one. What does that mean? If you don't do anything with the gifts, if you don't do anything with the talents, if you don't do anything with the intelligence, if you don't do anything with the anointing, if you don't do anything with your God-given creativity and your purpose, then here's what's going to happen. Opportunities are going to pass you by. Things that were meant for you are going to bypass you. You know what they say about opportunity? This is what they say about opportunity. Opportunity is oftentimes overlooked. Why is that? Because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. And that's what it is. Opportunity is work. Opportunity may not always come in the form that you're looking for. Opportunity may not always come in a suit and a tie. Opportunity may not always come in a dress or a skirt and some heels and a briefcase. But just in case you're trying to judge the gift by specifically the opportunity or whatever the case may be, I've got to be receptive enough to open up my mind, to expand my thinking, and to take advantage of what it is that here it is God wants me to have. The missed opportunity is a byproduct of what is taking place internally, of what is taking place in our mentality. And here it is. When I have something that is stymieing me, stifling me, stopping me, a stigma in my own mentality, now I don't take advantage of the opportunity. Why? Because here it is. I have not surrendered to the process. You want to position yourself in a greater way? Want to position yourself for ideas that become income, for contacts that become contracts? Then here it is. I have to position myself in the process. And oftentimes, positioning yourself in the process means I have to remain planted. Why? I got to be in the right soil. What does that mean? I have to be in the right environment in order to grow. Got to remain planted because here's the thing. When I'm in the right soil, when I'm in the right environment, I'll bloom where it is that I'm planted. You don't have to go to Birmingham to bloom. You don't have to go to Bangkok to bloom. Don't have to go to Brazil to bloom. Don't have to move to Atlanta to bloom. What happens is when I make room for God to be able to bloom in my life. In order for me to move through the place of the process, here's what I have to do. I have to acquiesce to my own specific needs. In order to move into the process and understand that, yes, I have to be planning the process, but I also have to be pruned. I have to I have to snip off, I have to cut away the dead weight. The things that seek to devour your thinking, the things that seek to destroy your mindset. I have to prune where it is that I am planted in. Got to get rid of the stuff that's holding you down. Got to deal with all the mental blockages. Right? Because here's the thing. We know about the war on terror. But when will you engage in the war on trauma? I want to talk to somebody. Yeah, you've heard about the war on terror. We experienced that over and over and over and over again. But what are you doing to engage in the war on trauma? Somebody just type truth. Somebody just type truth. Truth. When will you engage in the war on triggers that brings about the truth of who it is that you are? Why do I say that? Because here it is. Unaddressed trauma, unaddressed triggers will become your world war me war on terror. Are you hearing me? Because what terror is this: terror keeps you fearful. And what keeps you fearful can never make you faithful. Why? Because even the specter of doing that which seems to be uncomfortable will always become terrifying. But here's the thing you got to do: you got to feel the fear and you got to do it anyway. Listen, as we talk about World War Me, many of us have become a prisoner of war. Here's what we've become: we become a hostage of hurt. Hurt has held you hostage. Hurt has caused you to be a prisoner of war. And as a result, now you become MIA. You're missing in action versus putting your mission in action. You've gone AWOL, absent without leave, versus staying on the wall. Come on. God didn't tell you to leave that. God didn't tell you to leave that gift. God didn't tell you to leave that job. God didn't tell you to leave that book on the shelf once you pick it up and finish it. He didn't want you to leave what he told you to apprehend. He didn't want you to leave it. He wanted you to cleave to it. And here's what we're doing: we're cleaving to the wrong things. We're cleaving to the wrong people. We're cleaving to the wrong ideas. We're cleaving to the wrong patterns, leaving our gifts on the shelf. Yeah, making your gift like an elf on the shelf. Hmm? Because now you're really dealing with a war on terror. You're really dealing with a war on trauma. You're really dealing with a war on triggers that in many cases have never been addressed. Yes, I'm talking to you. And here's the thing: hurt can't keep you as a hostage any longer. Hurt keeps you as a hostage when you refuse to surrender. Because here's the thing: as a prisoner of war, this is what has happened. As a hostage of hurt, this is what has happened. We've been captured by conflict and comparison. Such and such does this better than I do. Such and such has that. Such and such is where I desire to be. And so now it moves us, because we've been captured by conflict and comparison. Now it moves us into a place of contempt. Now it moves us into a place of envy, to where here it is. Now we're hating on who we should be learning from. Come on. Stop holding yourself hostage. So somebody just type the word free. Somebody just type the word free. Free. And here's the thing: in order to be free, it costs you something. It cost you it, your surrender, your freedom cost you your surrender. What does free cost you? Everything. Free cost you sacrifice. Free cost you being uncomfortable, being comfortable. Freedom ain't free. Who the Son has set free is free indeed. But guess what it cost for the salvation for you to experience? Hmm? Who am I talking to? Come on, family. Type free. Free cost something. Stop becoming a prisoner of war simply because you won't move into a place of surrender. Stop becoming a prisoner of war simply because you won't move into the place of not my will, but thy will be done. We become prisoners of war simply because we've allowed people's opinions to become our prison. We become prisoners of war simply because of limited, stinking thinking and self limiting beliefs. You know what we have to do? I don't even know if they use this terminology anymore. But some years ago, we used to say, better come correct. And here's what we need to do. In order to come correct, we have to course correct. Why? Because our thinking is incorrect. Way of doing things is incorrect. You don't get the right answers by not solving the wrong problems. Let me say that again. You don't get the right answers by having a refusal to solve the wrong problems. I have to course correct. Got to course correct my living, got to course correct my relationships, got to course correct my stinking thinking, got to course correct my ideas to move into a place of increase. I have to course correct. Listen, you need to be a part of our community that causes you to course correct. Come on, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on the YouTube side. Come on, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, hit the thumbs up button. In order, what I got to do, I got to course correct. You need to be a part of an environment. You need to be part of our amazing community that helps you to course correct in your business, helps you to course correct in your relationships, to stretch you to another place, another plateau, go beyond the plateau, but be able to build a platform that is powerful, that is significant, to where you experience the healing. You've been talking about it, but what are you going to actually do to get involved into it and actually experience the healing and the transformation that you desire, the transformation in your relationships? Showing you how to move from here to there. There is waiting for you. Is what I do right here, right now. What do I have to do? I got to make an investment in my life. I got to make an investment in my dream. I got to make an investment in my goal, in my soul, in my business, in my relationships, in my purpose, in my personal development. I want you to go right now to theeaglesacademy.com. Showing you how to break free, showing you how to break through what it is that you go through. Go to theeaglesacademy.com, tap the join now button, fill out the form. I guarantee you'll be transformed. Got to course correct stinking thinking. And here's the thing. I have to course correct all of the regressive, imaginative thoughts. Listen, imagination is powerful. Imagination, imagination can do two things. Imagination can either put you in a place of transformation, or imagination can stifle you in stagnation. Do you hear what I'm saying? Your imagination can cause you to think big. Your imagination calls you to not just be a consumer, but a creator, not just a purchaser, but a producer. Your imagination can cause you to dream big. Listen, the poorest person, not the one without a dime. The poorest person is one without a dream and without an imagination. Imagination moves you into a place of innovation. But imagination can also move you into a place of stagnation. Why? Because you keep rehearsing what kept you losing. Let me talk to somebody. You keep replaying and reciting what keeps you staying where it is that you are. You listen, if you think you continue to think about it, I guarantee you'll start saying it. And what you say, you will begin to see. And what you see, you will eventually seize. Are you following me here? So I got somebody just type the word imagination. Come on, imagine, imagine, imagine. Imagine this. Not what's the worst that can happen. Imagine what's the best that can happen. You see how do you see how I shifted from stagnation to transformation? This is what we ask. What's the worst that can happen? Why don't we ask, what's the best that can happen when I surrender, when I sacrifice, when I move out of stagnation and adjust my imagination and I adjust my confession? My confession and my possession are interconnected. Why? Because of the power of my imagination. What if I shifted from what's the worst that could happen to what's the best that could happen when I surrender? Mm. Versus what's the worst that can happen from me surrendering to God to say what's the best that can happen? Why? Because He has plans for you, not to harm you, not to bring you evil, but to bring you good. Somebody just type is all good. It's all good. Here's the thing, it's all good when my imagination is all God. It's all good. Gotta course correct my stinking thinking. Come on, type. Come on, family. It's all good. Come on, family. Type. It's all good. Why? Because all things work together for the good. It's hurting, but it's working. Unnerving, but it's working. Disappointing, but it's working. Distracting, but it's working. Suffering, but it's working. Surrendering, but it's working. Sacrificing, but it's working. Imagining, but it's working. And it's all good because it's all God. But what I have to do is I got to course correct my thoughts. I have to course correct my stinking thinking. I have to course correct and I have to not recycle, but I got to throw away the regressive, imaginative thoughts. Why? Because 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 says this. 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 says, casting down, here it is. We're talking about imagination, casting down imaginations. Trying to make it make sense. Come on. My imagination will either move me in a place of transformation or stagnation. I got to cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. Hear me. If it's higher than God, it's too high. You got all that. Why are you majoring in minors? Too high. I got to cast down the imagination. I have to move into it. I have to arrest it, or here it is. If I don't arrest it, now it moves me into a place of arrested development. I have to arrest the thought. I have to apprehend the thought. I have to bring the thought into subjection. Why? Because I can't be conformed to this world. I have to be transformed. Here it is, by the renewing of my mind, by the renewing of my imagination, by the renewing of my thinking. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. Wasn't stagnation. It was transformation. I'll keep you in perfect peace if you keep, here it is, your mind stayed on me. Stop giving people a piece of your mind to only be left with just a piece of your mind. But you have no peace of mind. Let me say it twice because it's oh so nice. I'm trying to help you check yourself so you don't wreck yourself. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All I need is one mic. How about you? Stop giving people a piece of your mind or you'll only be left with just a piece of your mind, but no peace of mind. Come on. Delete that whole text thread that you was getting ready to cuss and fuss that person out. It ain't even worth saying okay to. Come on, you You going back and forth with somebody, texting, you know, giving your thumbs an arthritic condition, getting carpal tunnel in your thumbs. Because here it is, you stuck in a tunnel. Mhm. Yeah. Stop giving people a piece of your mind. Every response doesn't require a response. Did you hear what I just said? Their response doesn't require your response. Come on. When you argue with a fool, it's hard to tell who's who. Song said everybody plays a fool, but the tragedy is in remaining one. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Former President George Bush said, he messed up the quote. He said, fool me once, you can't get fooled again. Oh, yes, you can. Come on. I got to cast down the imagination. It might get, I'm not even going to put myself in that specific place. Why? Because here it is. I've matured to a greater place. I'm casting down imaginations. Every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. And here's the thing. Do you know what your problem is? Your problem is this. You're self-sabotaging by imagining. You imagine yourself failing. You imagine yourself falling. You don't imagine yourself succeeding. Why don't you imagine what comes from believing? You imagine yourself being abandoned. Stop imagining yourself being lost and confused and in a daze and dizzy. And because in many cases you've gone in so many circles, now you got vertigo. You got vertigo rather than you need to be moving in a vertical aspect of victory. Come on, you've allowed people to put you in so many circles. Life is flipped, tied, turned you around. You've been upside down to where now you think down is up and up is down. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that game where they would blindfold you and they spin you around, I don't know, 10, 15 times or whatever. And then you have to now tag somebody. And you just all over the place. You like a ship without a sail. You just going through life doing the wobble. You have vertigo rather than moving in a vertical aspect towards your victory. I'm going up. That's what's up. Stop imagining yourself being confused. Stop imagining yourself remaining where it is that you are. Stop imagining yourself being sick and hurt. Let me talk to somebody. You know why you only got one nerve left? Because you said they get on your last nerve. Come on. You know why you pulling your hair out? Because you keep saying they're going to cause you to pull your hair out. And now you're losing your hair. You only got one nerve left. Because you had the nerve to allow them to get on your last nerve. You know why you're sick? Because you said they make you sick. Come on. Your words create your world. What you put into the atmosphere will appear. Your future or your funeral is on the tip of your tongue. As scripture said, death and life is in the power of the tongue. Somebody just type speak life. When I speak life, here's the thing. I understand the power of my words. Understand how my words shape my world, that I'll say it, that when I say it, I'll begin to see it. When I say it, I begin to see it. And as a result of seeing it, I begin to seize it. Why do I have to cast down imaginations? Why do I have to throw them down? Because here's the thing. I ought to cast down the imagination. And here it is. It ought not be like a basketball that bounces back to me. It ought to be deflated. I got to deflate it by stepping on it. I got to deflate it. Here's the thing. If you don't deflate it, you'll live defeated. Who am I talking to tonight? Who am I talking to today? If you don't deflate it, you'll live defeated. Yeah, that's what I got to get to. Got to say it until I see it. Got to make sure I deflate it so that I don't live defeated. I have to cast down imaginations. Why? Because what I think, I create. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. United Negro College Fund had that correct. Yeah, I got to cast down those imaginations. What I think is what I'll create. It has to now reshape and restructure and recalibrate and realign my vision. If you don't have my book, 2020 Vision, go ahead and get it. Yeah. How to see beyond what you see, transform your reality. My perception and my perspective are aligned. Go get that book, 2020 Vision. Listen, think about this. The last part of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, casting down imaginations, every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God is what it says. Here's the thing. The scripture goes on to say this, bringing into captivity. There's a war reference. Bringing into captivity every thought to, here it is, the obedience of Christ. Obedience is surrender. Am I making it make sense? Here's the thing. World War Me, the greatest battle is internally. The greatest enemy is the enemy. Why am I in captivity? Because of a lack of surrender. Why am I warring against myself? Why? Because number one, I'm not in a place of obedience. Number two, it's delayed obedience. You got to where God wanted you to be, but it wasn't when he wanted you to be there. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night. We might as well end this thing. I got to where God wanted me to be, but not when he wanted me to be there. Why? Because I refused to cast down imaginations. Why? Because I kept telling him what he told me that I already told him is not in me when he already put it in me. When he already told me what belonged to me, when he already told me who it was that I am, but I'm moving not in the place of identity. I'm moving in place of lie identity. I'm moving in place of my identity. Lie identity. Keep telling him what I'm not when he told me who I am. My identity, my way or no way. No way is okay. That's why you stay that way. Delayed and denied. I got where he wanted me to be, but not when he wanted me to be there. Why? Because here it is. I missed the intersection of purpose and opportunity. And he tried to bring me into a place of unity. And so here's the thing. Now, because it's delayed, now because it seems like it's denied, we see other people where it is that we want to be, and now we envy. Now we move into a place of jealousy, simply because we missed the opportunity to get out of captivity, simply because we would not surrender. Bringing into captivity. Here's the thing. You got to reverse the curse. You've been under arrest. Now you got to do some arresting. Hmm? Been generational curses. Now you got to step into a place of generational blessings. Come on, it's time to start doing some reversing here. You've been dealing with self-esteem snipers. Now it's time to shoot back. You've been in a place of being captured. Now it's time to move into a place of being surrendered, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. What is it? Obedience is better than sacrifice. And I sacrifice my gift. I sacrifice my identity. I sacrifice who instructed me, the instruction that was given to me, simply because I would not move into the place of surrender. I would not sacrifice in the beginning. Now I'm sacrificing at the end. What you're thinking dictates where you're going. And also, it dictates when you get there. Yeah. We always talk about where we want to be. But in many cases, when we need to be there is something that we need to deal with. What you're thinking dictates where you're going and when you get there. But here it is. It begins by casting. I got to cast it down and level up. Hmm? I don't know much about fishing, but I fished a time or two. One of the worst things to be is being one of them little boats is when you're fishing. Because here's the thing, you start feeling every wave. And that motion sickness gets to you. Here's the thing. A lot of times, simply because our faith is so limited, because it's so small, here's the thing. Now we feel every wave that the enemy throws our way. We feel every wave of worry. We feel every wave of doubt and disappointment. We feel every wave. And here's the thing. Now we cave into the wave. We feel the motion. Here's the thing. Now the motion upsets our emotions. Yeah. Now you're on an emotional roller coaster. Up one day, down tomorrow. Down today, up tomorrow. You've allowed the motion in your imagination to play in your emotions. Simply because here's the thing, you're not casting. Another thing I understand about fishing is that I have to cast my rod. I have to cast my net because my network determines my net worth. Too many times we're casting our rod right into the shallow end because we don't think we can catch nothing big. We don't think that we can think big. We don't think that we can land on a big opportunity. Somebody just type big. Somebody just type big. What did Jesus tell the disciples? To launch out into the deep and let down your net for a draught. A draught is a big catch. Listen, one thing, I don't know much about fishing. I do know. Don't want to be in one of them little boats. Because here's the thing. The meal that you were eating is going to end up in the water. But yeah, put two and two together. You know what I'm talking about. That meal that you eating going to land in that water from some of that motion sickness if you have some of that. Have to understand this. That I have to cast my net in the deep. Got to take my boat out of the shallow end. I got to get away from shallow minded people, shallow relationships, shallow levels of thinking, shallow ideas, shallow imagination. That moves you into a place of stagnation, not transformation. Here's another thing I got to do. I got to understand this. I don't know much about fishing, but I do know this. The fish are biting not in the shallow end. The fish are biting in the deep. Fish are smart. They know that if they coming up to shallow end, easier for them to be caught. Easier for them to lose their fish gills. Can I keep it real? Lord knows I wish some salmon would swim up shore to me. That's for sure. Because I love salmon. Right? But the fish are biting in the deep. Where's Adele at? I'd ask her to sing Rolling in the Deep. I need to be launching in the deep. I need to be casting my net in the deep. Why? Because deep calleth unto deep. And here's the thing. I have to cast my net down in order to level up. Got to check your net because here's the thing. Some of us got some holes in our net. Yeah, we got holes in our net. We got holes in our mindset. We have holes, here it is, in our mindset, our skill set, our heart set, our tool set. No wonder we're not an asset. You want to be a part of the Eagles Academy. Why? Because I'm showing you how to sharpen your skill set. I'm showing you how to maximize your mindset. Showing you how to build with your tool set. Showing you how to heal your heart set. How to be an asset. Yeah, how to be an asset in any environment. Be an asset in any particular industry. Join us in the Eagles Academy, theeaglesacademy.com. Go there right now. Tap the join now button. Fill out the form, be transformed. I have to cast it down and level up. And here's the thing. I don't get to Philippians 4, verse 8 until I do 2 Corinthians 10, verse 5. I don't get to Philippians 4, verse 8 until I do 2 Corinthians 10, verse 5. What does Philippians 4, verse 8 convey? Whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report. Come on, things that are true. I need to be thinking about that. Things that are honest. I can't focus on my lie identity. I got to focus on the truth of my identity through honesty. Right? I got to focus on what is just, what is justified, what brings true justice to my life. The purity of who it is that I am. What is of a good report? Come on. How many times you keep getting bad reports from folks who never want you to step into the good of who it is that you are? Why? Because if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, what do I need to do? Think on these things. I got to think on these things. And here's the thing. I can't think on these things until I cast down what I'm imagining. Are you following? Family, am I making it make sense? Is this making any sense, family? I'm wondering, is this making any sense, family? I can't think on these things that I just mentioned until I cast down what I'm imagining. Why? Because the greatest battle that you will experience is the battlefield of the mind. If I can get my thoughts together, if I can get my mind together, my life will be together. If I can get my mind together, my relationships will be together. If I can get my mind together, my purpose will be together. If I can get my mind together, here's the thing. Things in my life that seem to be pieces to a puzzle will begin to come together. World War Me is about what's going on internally. And here's the thing, you can't allow your thoughts to get the best of you. I can't allow my thoughts to get the best of me. I can't allow my thoughts, here it is, to put me into an emotional war zone, or I'll never embrace strength in surrender. You can't spell surrender without being under. I got to be under his leading. I got to be under his guide. Got to be under God's power. I got to be under his anointing. I got to be under so that I can come over. And here's the thing. Too many times, many of us surrender to doubt. We surrender to unbelief. Yeah. Come on. This is what we're doing. We just waving the flag. We waving the flag. Yeah. You surrender to all the things that are going wrong. You just capitulate. You just acquiesce. You just give up rather than see, what can I do to go up? In order for me to go up, I got to grow up. And I grow up in my surrendering. I grow up in my sacrificing. Why? Because a know-it-all really knows nothing at all. And here's the thing. I got to give God it all. Stop waving the flag. Because here it is. It's a flag on the play. You get penalized for quitting. Here it is. You get penalized for forfeiting. Do you understand this? When you're facing your opponent and now your opponent has psyched you out. When you're facing your opponent and here it is, when you thought you had people on your team who would be with you and they wouldn't show up. Now they start faking injuries. Now they start biting their nails. Now they start moving into a place of cowardly disposition. And here's the thing, you quit because you thought you needed them. No, I don't need them. I just need to obey like I was Gideon. Because here's the thing, when you forfeit, you lose. Really? Yeah. You didn't even get off the bench good enough yet. You didn't even start. You didn't even try. The opponent wins simply because you forfeited. Stop forfeiting your future. Stop forfeiting your faith. Stop forfeiting your big ideas. Stop forfeiting your knowledge. Stop forfeiting your identity. Stop forfeiting your wisdom. Stop forfeiting your clarity and giving the enemy victory. Who am I talking to? Here's the thing. Just because the people who you thought would be courageous wound up becoming cowards doesn't mean you have to quit. Why is that? Gideon faced a 120,000 man army. Started with 32,000, ended up with 300. Less is more. Minor is the new major. Small is the new big. I don't need a whole bunch of people. I need the right people. Why? Because God and me are a majority. You quit, but I'm going to stick to it. Why? Because you dropping out ain't going to make me take a L. I refuse to allow my thoughts to put me into an emotional war zone. I'm going to embrace the gift of surrendering. Why? Because there's strength in it. Do you understand this? That there's strength in not knowing everything? Do you understand this? That surrender is submission. And here it is. Submission is not slavery. Come on. Submission is not slavery. Submission does not mean I put a tether on you. Submission does not mean control. Here's what submission means. I'm trusting you to have everything under control. Hello, somebody. Submission is not control. Submission is I trust you to have everything under control. Why? Because here it is. I've decided to surrender by relinquishing control. You, you know why you worry so much? Because you feel like you got to control everything. You got to micromanage everything. God want to give you a miracle, but can I micromanage it first? I want to give you this blessing, but do you think I'm gonna like it? Can I actually just get a preview before I it comes to fruition? Just in case I need to work out some of the details first. Might have a couple kinks in it. Got to get my thoughts together. Got to move into a place of transformative imagination. Because here's the thing, if you can start thinking and saying the right things to yourself, you have the right things for yourself. Let me say that again. If you can start thinking the right things to yourself, you'll start having the right things for yourself. And here's the thing, sometimes you got to talk to yourself and tell yourself that you can do it. You got to talk to yourself and tell yourself that you're more than a conqueror. You got to talk to yourself and tell yourself in the midst of an ugly situation that there's still some beauty coming out of you. You got to talk to yourself and tell you that guess what? Your wounds are becoming wisdom. You got to talk to yourself and tell yourself that it can happen. You got to talk to yourself and tell you what God says about you. Because here's the thing, in the midst of dealing with all kinds of self-esteem snipers, in the midst of dealing with all types of mental missiles, in the midst of dealing with all types of landmines on your mind, you got to change your confession through the power of your imagination. I want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to the warrior within you. I want to talk to that person who's been in that battle. Yeah, the one who's literally a love warrior in the face of hatred, who's literally said to themselves, listen, I'm a freedom fighter in times of terrorism due to trauma. I'm a wounded healer in the face of trauma and tears. Might be a wounded warrior that first begins limping, but now you're going to start leaping simply because you're trusting, simply because you're sacrificing, simply because you're surrendering to say, not my way, not my will, but your will be done. To sing like that song said, I surrender all. My mind, my will, my emotions, through it all, I'm going to surrender all. Somebody just type it. Yeah, Brianna. Yeah, type it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. You right in the flow. Somebody just type, I surrender all. I surrender all. I'm going to be a love warrior in the face of hatred. I surrender all. I'm going to be a freedom fighter in the midst of captivity. I surrender all. I might be wounded, but there's wisdom coming out of my wounds. I surrender all. Might be dealing with war on terror and the war on trauma, the war on tears, the war that becomes testimonies. I surrender all. Can't trust you, but I'm going to trace you. I surrender all. Why? Because here it is. There's not just strength in numbers. There's strength in surrender. It's not about how many people you have. It's about the disposition of the people you have. Hmm? And here it is. And when you have the right disposition, you'll make the right declaration. Come on. Well, my disposition and my declaration are in tandem together. I can't say the right things until my heart posture is right. Come on. It moves me into a place of surrender, moves me into a place of sacrifice. Because here's the thing, oftentimes World War Me is us fighting internally between our will and God's will. You know what we do? You know what we do? Many cases, oftentimes we're so conflicted. Oftentimes, in many cases, we marginalize ourselves simply because we'll say if it's God's will, but we internalize our will. Yeah. Well, if it's God's will, I believe it's going to happen. We don't really even mean that because we're specifically focusing on our will. But here's what I realize, if it's God's will, it's his bill. Yeah, that's what I realize. If he brought you to it, he'll bring you through it. Only thing I have to do is make a praise payment. God's will, his bill. He gave me the vision. I need to move into the vision, and he'll bring the provision and the manifestation of it. And here's the thing, I hope you quit. Yeah, I hope you quit. Think about all the reasons why it's not going to work. I hope you quit telling yourself that you need to quit on your gifts, that you need to quit on your goals. I hope you quit talking yourself out of what God wants you to step into. I hope you quit trying to be a people pleaser. I hope you quit thinking about all the reasons why you shouldn't surrender. I hope you quit seeking only to remain comfortable. I hope you quit. I hope you fire you so that God can stoke the fire within you. Why? I really hope you quit on doing all the things that push you away versus push you towards. Why? Because here's the thing, you will win if you quit. Yeah, not you will win if you don't quit. You'll win if you quit. And here's the thing, I'm talking to somebody who's a winner. I'm talking to somebody who's stronger. I'm talking to somebody who's better. I'm talking to somebody who's been called and commissioned to shine brighter. I want to talk to somebody who's going to internalize the fact that will say, listen, surrender is this. I will decrease so that you can increase. That's it. That's it, Brianna. Less of me and more of thee. Come on. Somebody just put some emoji hands up. Somebody just put some emoji hands up. Why? Because here's the thing. Whenever somebody has committed a crime, especially if you've seen it on the movies, somebody trying to rob a bank, and they know they're outmanned. They put on the mask. They didn't want their countenance to be caught. had the had the resources in hand, but they knew there was only one way out. Ain't from the side door, ain't from the back door, ain't from no corridor. You got to go through the front. And the police are saying, put down your weapons. You're looking through that glass. and you see what's worth more, your life, or in many cases, trying to take money that you'll never be able to spend. And here's what the assailant does. Here's what the robber does. They put down their weapons and they walk out with their hands lifted. Here it is. What does that communicate? One, it communicates, I put down my arms. I put down my artillery, my armor. I put down all the weapons that I could harm you. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to surrender. Come on. And here's the thing. After you put your arms down, your artillery, your weaponry, this is what you got to do. You got to put your arms up. Yeah, to say, listen, I'm surrendering. And here's the thing. God is arresting you right now. Yeah. To say, listen, come on. I don't want to watch you continue to rob yourself. Like the robber of a bank. Stop robbing yourself of what I placed in you. Stop robbing yourself of the wealth that money cannot buy that I placed inside of you. Stop robbing yourself of your identity by adopting a lie identity and my identity. Stop robbing yourself of the gifts and the goals and the power that I placed in your soul. Time for you to put your hands up. Time for you to say, not my will, but your will be done. One of the amazing gospel singers, Dorinda Clark Cole, sang the song, I'm coming out. Here it is, with my hands up. Yeah. When I put my hands up, I'm saying, listen, I'm giving you my depression. I want you to give me some joy. When I'm putting my hands up, I'm giving you all the reasons why it won't work. And I'm believing that you can show me how it will work. When I'm putting my hands up, I'm saying, listen, I'm giving you my heart. Give me my soul. Give me my mind. Give me my will. Give me my emotions. When it seems, here it is, I can't make motion in my life. I'm coming out with my hands up because I know that here it is, you can take me up. You can take me up out of what it is that I've been in. You can take me up out of this lethargy. You can take me up out of this sadness. You can take me up out of this bitterness. You can take me up out of this strife that has infected my life. You can take me up out of what it is that I've been in because you'll show me how to love me through what it is that I've gone through. Come on, somebody just type my hands up. Yeah, my hands up. I got my hands up. I'm surrendering to the process. I'm surrendering to the pruning. I'm surrendering to the sacrifice. I'm surrendering because here it is. I know that there's a great blessing coming. My hands up. Yeah, I yield. I yield. And here it is. When you yield, come on, somebody just put up a yield sign. Somebody just type yield. Come on, family, type yield. Put up an emoji yield sign. Here it is. When I yield, you and I will produce the greatest yield. We'll have a harvest that we can trust. We'll have a harvest of hope, a harvest of healing, a harvest that didn't come just because of hardship. Harvest that came because of a surrender and a sacrifice. Here's the beautiful thing about putting your hands up. You putting up your hands is an indication that you're saying, listen, I'm tired of being like a chicken. I'm tired of being like a pigeon. God, I want you to make me like an eagle. Why? Because here's the thing. You will win if you spread your wings. If you spread your wings, you will win. My hands up. My hands are outstretched. Yeah. Why? Because here it is. You were created to soar into more. Come on, somebody just type the word soar. Type the word soar. Come on, those of you who are watching me, those of you who are listening to me, those of you who are looking at me, I just want you just to type the word soar. You were created to soar into more. And here's the thing, to soar into, there's something that I have to soar out of. I'll never soar into what I refuse to soar out of. I'll never be free for until I'm free from. Are you hearing me? I can never be free for my future until I'm free from my past. Soar out of that struggle. Soar out of that stinking thinking that causes you to keep sinking. Sometimes you think you said the wrong thing, you said the right thing. Soar out of the stinking thinking that keeps you sinking. You need to soar into a community of collaboration, because communities of collaboration like mine, the Eagles Academy, is a new currency. What am I doing currently? How am I soaring currently out of what I've been in so that I can get into what I need to get into and become who it is that I need to become? I want you to come into the Eagles Academy. And as you're typing the word soar, here it is. As you type that word soar, I want you to put that word into the checkout. I want you to go to theeaglesacademy.com, fill out the form, tap the join now button to fill out the form, be transformed. There's a coupon code there. I don't know about you, but I like coupons. Matter of fact, coupons, as they say. Yeah, I know the linguists are coming for me. And make sure I lead with the right literature. One thing I love coupons. So there's a code there. There's a coupon code that I want you to put in the word soar at checkout. Put in the word soar at checkout, and I'm giving you the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Go there right now. Go there right now. Some of y'all laughing at me. Yeah, because I'm gonna laugh to keep from crying over coupon. So I want you to go there right now. TheEaglesAcademy.com. Come on, soar with us. Soar with us. Where are we soaring into? We're soaring into success. We're soaring into purpose. We're soaring into transformation. We're soaring into emotional intelligence and emotional awareness. We're soaring into relational intelligence. We're soaring into spiritual intelligence. We're soaring into transformational intelligence. We're soaring into the place of where our ideas become impact. Our ideas become influence. Our ideas lead to increase. Our ideas don't just put us on an island by ourselves, but our ideas take us into a place of greater income. Let me show you how to develop your business, your personal development, your skills, your identity. Soar with us as we maximize our mindset. Soar with us as we sharpen our skill set. We build with our tool set. We heal our heart set. We recognize that we are an asset. Be more. I like that. Don't wait. Participate. Yeah. Come on now. Stop sitting on the sideline and call your own number. To play an active role in your own lifetime movie. You're the star of your own film. Come on, time to soar. Don't procrastinate. Participate. Let me give you the strategies, the structure, the solutions to take your vision to another dimension. Time to get the requisite skills, and I've given you some requisite skills today. But trust me, there's way more in our Eagles Academy. Tomorrow, I can't wait to talk about it. We're talking about building off. We're talking about, in many cases, building an audience with authenticity simply because you know your identity. It's going to be good. If you want to be a better leader, got to lead yourself better. Got to learn how to navigate the marketplace mandate that you have. We're developing our communication competency simply because here it is. Communication is not just about presentation. Communication is about conversation. Communication is about connection. You need to make sure that you get the Eagles. You need to go to the eaglesacademy.com/store. Go ahead and get the art of communication. Go ahead and get successful speaker strategies. You want to get my course, my digital training video course, of course, on in many cases how to connect when you communicate. Again, not just for presentation, but in many cases for conversation, for connection. As I've said before, and I'll continue to say this again, whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. Using the right words makes what you're building work. Listen, doesn't matter that for which you're working if you don't have the right wording. Why? Because you got to be able to communicate in a way that causes people to connect. Here's the thing that you will do the most for the rest of your life is communicate. Why not get better at it? Why not be the best at it? Come on. The only way the only way that you become better at it is that if you're responsive to it. The only way that you become better is by practicing. You don't become better at playing basketball by not shooting a basketball. Let me talk to somebody. You don't become better as a communicator by not communicating. You don't become better as a writer by not writing. Are you willing to be bad enough long enough to be better enough soon enough? Nobody starts as an expert. But here's the thing, you'll be an expert if you start. I like that. I like that. Let me say it twice because it's also nice. Nobody starts off being an expert, but I guarantee you'll be an expert if you start. Don't maybe go in overtime teaching tonight. Let me corral it in. Let me surrender. Here it is. You will progress if you surrender to the process. Go to theeaglesacademy.com/store. You can get the successful speaker strategies there, as well as at accessidentity.org/speaker. You can also get the bestseller book blueprint. Remember I mentioned you don't become better as a writer by not writing. I'm helping you with your writing. I'm helping you to write your manuscript. You want to get the bestseller book blueprint. Yes, it's available at theeaglesacademy.com/store. It's also available at accessidentity.org/author. Accessidentity.org/author. I'm showing you how to turn your manuscript and take it to the marketplace. Showing you how to even create a system for your writing. Because we have a lot of ideas. We just don't have the discipline of what it takes to actually put those ideas into fruition. I'm showing you how to go about disciplining yourself to actually maximize what it is that you need to put in your manuscript. Showing you How to become an industry authority as an author. I'm showing you. Here it is. How to actually increase your book sales as an author if you're already an author and if you desire to become one. Go and get the resources. Go and get the resources. Going to be a benefit, a blessing, and it's going to mitigate the stressing. Why reinvent the wheel if I've already put the spokes in it and I'm speaking to it? I hope you got something from this. Should we do part 12? Here's the thing. When you talk about World War Me, feel like we've been on the battlefield for a little while. Feel like we've been a soldier in the army of the Lord. Here's another thing. I feel as if like life is bringing us in one accord. Also feel like I've been a boxer. And here's the thing. Boxing has 12 rounds. This is part 11. Strength and surrender. But I think we should just knock it out in round 12. Come on. Let's give the enemy a knockout in round 12. Yeah. This is the longest series I've ever done. And I hope it's helping you to overcome. That's it. Yeah. Time for the KO for show. We're going to knock it out tomorrow. Without hesitation. Tomorrow is going to be the conclusion to World War Me. And I want you to join me in the digital space and place known as In the Mix at 6. Join us tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be called The Verdict is Victory. I don't even know if you have the artwork, but it's going to be all good. You'll see it tomorrow for sure. The Verdict is Victory. We're going to it tomorrow. Listen, In the Mix at 6 is out of time, but you know I'm not out of truth. Like that great rapper, Tupac Shakur once said, there it is, World War Me Part 12. They work fast, don't they? Team works fast. Out of time, but I'm not out of truth. Like a great rapper once said, that rapper Tupac Shakur, there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. I want you to know that you are appreciated. You are celebrated. Why? Because a win for you is a win for me too. I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for rocking with me. I want to thank you for riding with me. I want to thank you for rolling with me. Why? Because that's just how we roll. This is how we rock, ride, and roll each and every single day of the week. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the digital airwaves of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop all the way over to the YouTube side. While you're there, come on, hit the thumbs up button. Come on, hit the thumbs up button. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Come on, you can do that, can't you? Yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Want you to follow me on all the social sites. And that is at EddieConnorJr. Come on, put some respect. Spell it right. At EddieConnorJr. Listen, y'all keep showing love. I'm going to keep showing up. If I can help you, if I can serve you in any way, be sure to reach out to me. If you'd like me to come and speak at your event, your church, your conference, your community center, your school, your college, your workshop, whatever's clever, hit me up whenever. Yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand. It's your brother from another mother. Family, it has been fun. But you know, brother got to run. But I want you to know that it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you to remember to keep the faith and believe It's going to be bigger, better, and brighter when you surrender peace and love. Keep soaring higher.
Hey, it's yours truly, Dr. Eddie. Listen, don't you want to level up in your life? Don't you want to actually dominate this year? You need strategy, you need structure, you need solutions. If you're going to level up in your relationships, you're going to identify your brand identity. If you're going to identify your identity, this is your year to become more. This is your year to do more. I'm telling you, this is the time to grow your greatness. You need to be in a secure environment, in a community that really cares about your growth, that wants to enhance it, wants to push you in a place of not just information, but transformation for your application. I'm telling you, you don't just go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. Join our team. Become a part of the Eagles Academy. Go right now. The EaglesAcademy.com. When you get there, you have to join now button and become a member of this amazing academy with so many amazing people, locally and globally, who understand that their network determines their net worth. They want to soar into success and purpose. I can't wait to see your face, not just your space. Go right now. The EaglesAcademy.com.